Hey everybody, welcome to the Hamakua Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today we are making kombucha. This will be my first time making kombucha from an existing Scoby. I have made it only a couple times in the past, and that was from raw, unflavored kombucha in a jar, and creating my own Scoby. But this time we have a Scoby here that we are going to go ahead and feed. So this one came straight out of the refrigerator at the local kombucha shop, and this is what it looks like. Has a little instruction packet. There it is. Got our Scoby inside there, and at least a cup. Let's say it's about a cup of kombucha to go with it. And we're going to use that to continue to feed it. But let's start off by going through the things that we're going to need to make this happen. You're going to start off with a 2 to 3 gallon vessel. It should be wide-mouthed and made out of glass. A cloth napkin and a rubber band to top it off. Non-treated filtered water. Your scober. You're going to need your Scoby with its starter liquid, black tea, and sugar. This one recommends that you use this particular Scoby for 1 gallon. So we're not going to fill up our 2-gallon container today. We're just going to go ahead and get it started with a strong 1 gallon, which is what it recommends. Make sure that all of your utensils and all of your supplies are super clean, but don't clean any of it with bleach, because that is going to kill any of the good bacteria that you're trying to grow inside of these containers, because the bleach leaves a nasty residue. Measure 1 cup of sugar into a pot. Cover with water, heat until it is just melted, and set it aside to cool. In a second pot, measure 2 quarts of filtered water, heat it to 190 degrees, turn it off the heat, drop in 3 to 4 tea bags, leave it to steep for 20 minutes. After your 20 minutes is up, remove your tea bags. Add the tea and the sugar syrup together in your clean fermenting vessel. Add in cool water enough to bring it up to slightly less than 1 gallon, leaving space for the starter Scoby, the starter and the Scoby. Once the liquid has reached room temperature, add the starter fluid and the Scoby into its new home. Now, the Scoby may sink or float, and either one of those is fine. Cover the jar with your cloth and apply the rubber band around the lip. This ensures that you will not have any flies sneaking into your new kombucha. Then go ahead and place it in a warm, dark place, but not too warm, and leave it for 2 to 4 days. Interesting. According to this, we need to evaluate our Scoby in 2 to 4 days. That's really fast. So that's that. That's how to start your kombucha with an existing Scoby and starter fluid. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same process, just a little bit different. We're going to start it with kombucha instead of with a Scoby. Now this I have done before, and it does work. You're going to do the same process with the same supplies and basically the same recipe, although there is room for play with the recipes. Measure out your sugar. Heat it up with your water. Brew your tea just the same as you did before. So up until now, the process is exactly the same. The only difference is now we're gonna add 2 cups of kombucha. Now this one will take a little bit while Now this one will take a little while longer to grow a Scoby as opposed to one already existing, but it won't take more than a couple weeks before you're ready to go ahead and start your second ferment to brew your flavored kombucha at that point. So the only difference is now I am adding kombucha instead of a Scoby. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 cups. Alright, so that's going to do it for today. That's all we need to do for both of our kombuchas. I'm going to bring you guys back in a few days and in a few weeks and just let you know how it progresses so you guys will know what to expect for your kombucha. So it has been a week since we started our kombuchas, so now we're going to take a look at our Scoby because the store-bought Scoby said that we would be able to use it in less than a week. This one is the store-bought Scoby. This is 1 gallon. We do have a film on the top for sure. It's starting to get a Scoby forming on the top, but it is, as you can see, not fully formed at all. The mother itself is down at the bottom, which is totally fine. It can be at the top or bottom, it don't matter. Oh, here, it's started to separate a little bit. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you can see the film is separate a little bit from the top of the liquid. So we're just gonna keep going. I'm not ready to call this good yet. Now let's go ahead and check on our other one that was made from just store-bought kombucha with no mother in it. There we go. This one you can clearly see that the Scoby is forming on the top. It might look a little funky, but this is exactly what we're going for. You can see the layer right here. It is a lot thicker. I'm not sure why this one would develop any faster than the other. No, I kind of feel like we could go ahead and bottle this up today. Well, I'm kind of anxious to be able to have my own homemade kombucha instead of purchasing it as often as I do. So we're gonna go ahead and get this bottled up for our second fermentation. I'm just gonna go ahead and set this aside and make sure that it doesn't get dirty at all. We don't want anything contaminating it. So from what I've been reading, you want to go ahead and make sure that you have about 80 to 90% kombucha in your second ferment and just about 10 to 20% of the flavoring. So we're using frozen cherries for this one today. Okay, so we had our sauerkraut fermenting on, this is not sauerkraut. All right, so we had our kombucha fermenting on the countertop for 3 days. It's still It's still in the big jug. The cherries are on top and on bottom. It's very, very colorful, which is really pretty. We had it on the countertop for 3 days, and then I knew I wasn't gonna be able to get around to it, so it's been also now in the refrigerator for 3 additional days. And now it's time to check it out. It is the moment of truth. I'm gonna bring you guys down so we can see if there's any carbonation. That will be the true test. There's a little bit of fizz. Not too much, okay. Now at this point you could go ahead and strain this out so you don't have the cherries in the bottom. But for this moment, we're gonna go ahead and just taste it. There's a little carbonation in there. Not bad. All right, here we go. Oh, yeah. It's delicious. Again, we've got some bubbles. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm not playing. I'm gonna drink this whole thing today, for reals. It's fresh, it's light. It's not overly carbonated, but it is carbonated. This is going to be a reoccurring event in this household, for sure. You wanna try my kombucha? Well, this was my first successful full batch of kombucha from the very, very beginning until the very, very end with the second ferment and having a successful carbonation. It is so good. It is so good. And it's not overly sweet, which I really like. And at this point, you could definitely go ahead and put this into smaller bottles. You could ferment this, the second ferment, in a smaller bottle to begin with, a bottle more this size. This would definitely work too. Just put your fruit in there, 10 to 20%, and then the rest with the first batch of kombucha. That would work out really well also. And these bottles are not actually made for, you know, the high pressure of the gases that the kombucha makes. But I figured it was worth the risk for me because that's what I bought them. I bought it because that's what I bought in these jars was kombucha. So I was taking a risk. I definitely recommend that you guys go ahead and give this a try. It is a fantastic alternative to sodas and high sugar juices, things like that. This is definitely a healthier way to go. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Hamakua Homestead. I'll see you again soon.